Everyone, another book today at Cindy Harper Speaks, and this one is entitled Officially Interesting. It's by Clara Bohrod and it's illustrated by Huerta. Officially interesting. Let's see what's going to be interesting. Tells us the author has chosen to tell this story from the point of view of the main character, Riley Dowling. Okay, so let's see what officially interesting is about. Hi, my name is Riley Dowling, and this is the story of my life. I am 10 years old and have straight brown hair. I wear glasses. Ugh. I have an older brother named Blake. Everyone calls him a scholar athlete, but I think he is more of a know-it-all jock. I am in 5th grade and I am in trouble. My teacher, Ms. Doan, has given us a terrible assignment. We have to write a 5-page autobiography for class. 5 pages I can do, but how can I write my whole life story in that space? What would I say? I decided to ask my parents for help. Here's a question, I said. Mrs. Doan wants us to turn in an autobiography on Monday. How can you do that in 3 to 5 pages? I mean, it's the story of my entire life. Not exactly, said my dad. It could be about one event in your life, as long as it's true and as long as it says something interesting and important about you. My brother Blake just laughed. What have you ever done that was interesting? I glared at Blake and he stopped laughing, but the smirk still sat on his face. Oh, I said something interesting. Well, that's easy, I guess. Or maybe not, said Blake. Who asked you? I shot back. Since he's 3 years older than me, I can't help but look up to him half the time. But the other half of the time, he infuriates me. To write an autobiography, you have to have something important to write about. Blake raised his eyebrow at me as if daring me to think of one single thing I had done. Of course, I immediately rose to his bait. So, I've done lots of important stuff, I said. Blake scoffed. Yeah, right. You haven't even been in the newspaper. Blake's big claim to fame was getting his picture on the front page of the Maverick Middle School News. That was for scoring a winning basket in a game last winter. I must have heard about that 1,000 times since it happened. It's embarrassing, but I actually believe Blake's nasty comment. I've got nothing to write about, I told my best friend Miranda. I've never done anything important. We were hanging out in my room eating popcorn. Of course, my dog Holly was sitting on my bed with us too. I hardly go anywhere without her. I'm just going to describe my family, said Miranda. That ought to take at least 3 pages. Miranda has twin brothers, a really cool stepsister, and live-in grandparents. My family is not quite so big or colorful. Besides, I didn't want Blake to appear in print again for a good long time. I need a plan, I said, something that'll get my name on the front page of the news. Then I'll be officially interesting. I think you're interesting, said Miranda. You have to. You're my best friend, I told her. By the way, are you staying for dinner? That depends. Is your dad cooking again? Miranda wrinkled her nose at the thought of Dad's cooking. Not to worry, he's getting takeout. My dad, though a great guy, was not known for his cooking skills. What's the deal with your mom anyway? Miranda asked. She's really busy at the animal shelter, I explained. They're having a big fundraiser in a couple of weeks. She's the main organizer. A fundraiser? Asked Miranda. What kind? They're having a special charity dog show. People are paying to enter their own dogs, and other people are paying to watch. It's really huge, I explained. Hey, Miranda said, if you really want to get in the newspaper, just figure out a way to help. I'm sure there will be reporters there. But what could I do? I asked, tossing a piece of popcorn into Holly's mouth. Maybe you could cook a few things and organize a bake sale. Me? I shook my head. My father taught me everything I know about cooking. Miranda laughed, then tried again. Well, maybe you could do something else. How about doing a walkathon? That would definitely get you into the news. I guess you're right. But that sounds too hard, I responded. I scratched Holly's ears as she licked the popcorn bowl. Then an idea dawned on me. Miranda, what if Holly does a walkathon? I blurted out. Holly, she said. How could Holly do a walkathon? Easy, I answered. On the day of the fundraiser, we walk Holly over to the shelter. It's only about 3 miles, and we get people to pledge money. Every mile that Holly walks, they give $1. Excuse me. Miranda picked up on the idea right away. She even added her own suggestion. Yeah, she said. And when Holly gets there, she gives the money to your mom herself. Holly can carry one of those little doggy packs or something. Suddenly, a picture came to my mind. There was Holly sitting in front of the shelter, wearing a little cask around her neck with one paw raised. She shakes hands with my smiling mother, and all the while I stand beside them as photographers click away. Dreamily, I said to Miranda, I bet the reporters will love it. The next day, we swung into action. Miranda and I made posters to put up at school. Holly the Wonder Dog walks, one read. Support the Paws for a Cause campaign, said another. Then something funny happened. Some kids pledged, but others asked if they could enter their dogs in the walkathon. I said, sure, the more the merrier. Let's meet in Lawrence Park at 9 o'clock sharp. Then I phoned the local newspaper to let them know what was up. Everything looked great for the big walkathon. When the big day arrived, I could hardly wait to get going. Miranda and I got Holly all prepared. We fitted a mini cardboard cast to her dog collar and tucked in $56 worth of pledge slips. Then we set out. When we got to Lawrence Park, people and dogs were everywhere. It was a beautiful fall day, and the trees in the park were just losing their bright red and yellow leaves. It couldn't have been more perfect, or so I thought. What I didn't think about was what was under all that foliage, acorns. And where there are acorns, there are squirrels. The minute Holly spotted one of the little nut gatherers, she leapt forward so fast, she pulled the leash right out of my hand. Holly, come, I yelled, running after her. Somebody grabbed that dog. One girl tried, but when she did, she lost control of her own dog. All of a sudden, the park was full of confusion. Dogs were chasing squirrels, children chasing dogs, and parents chasing children. In all that commotion, I lost sight of Holly. After an hour of looking, Miranda and I still hadn't found her. And that was the end of our pledge walk. So much for getting our names in the newspaper, and so much for me having anything interesting to write about for Ms. Doan. Miranda and I looked everywhere for Holly. Hours later, we dragged ourselves home empty-handed and plopped down on my front steps. Don't worry, Miranda noticed. I was starting to cry again. I'm sure we'll find her. But all I could think about was, what if we didn't? This is not how I wanted to be remembered, as a girl who lost her dog and couldn't raise money for an animal shelter. Blake would have a field day with this one. Hi, dweebs. Blake came out bouncing a basketball. He noticed my tear-streaked face. What's wrong with you? Holly's lost, I whispered. She ran away. No, she didn't, said Blake. Look upstairs. Then he calmly went back to dribbling his basketball and ignoring us. We raced up the steps and found Holly watching squirrels from a window. I squeezed her tight, grateful she hadn't run away. I decided to write my teacher a note telling her what had happened. I wanted to explain why I couldn't turn in my essay. It turned out to be 4 pages long. At the end of the note, I told Ms. Doan how sorry I was and how hard I tried to have something good to write about. On Wednesday, she gave back our papers. She also returned my note. Scrawled across the top was a big red A in this comment. A very engaging story. And it told me a lot about yourself. You are creative and you make things happen. That's what an autobiography should do. Officially interesting. So So she got her story after all and got an A on the assignment. Sometimes we make things out to be harder than they really are. If you like Officially Interesting, please press like at the end, and I'll see you next time at Cindy Harper Speaks. Thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.